Hey, I appreciate you stopping by, but I'm going to be honest with you. We have our own internal rental company as a general contractor. So we don't need any sales reps coming by and trying to rent us gear because we have our own internal rental company. We own our own equipment, and then we request or require that all of our subcontractors rent from us. Ugh. This is a really tough one because it takes a big chunk of the market away from the rental houses. The problem is that many of the general contractors are realizing that as their projects make less and less and less money, and a great project, a project that goes out, a typical one, makes about 8 to 10%. Well, if there's changes in the schedule, if there's liquidated damages, which means the job doesn't finish on time, if there's punch list stuff that didn't get resolved, every one of those dips into that to 8 to 10%. And as it gets smaller and smaller and smaller, general contractors realize they need to bid less to win the jobs, but as they have a smaller margin, they've got to make money somewhere. So some general contractors have decided that they want to get into the rental business. So they went out and bought some scissor lifts, some forklifts, some skid steers, mini excavators. And then what they do is they write in the contract that if you are a subcontractor working on their job site, you have to rent equipment from the general contractor. They will back bill you. So instead of the money going to the rental guys, it goes back to the general contractor, and they make a little bit of money because they still have to pay for the assets and pay for all that stuff. They make a little bit of money on the rental, which helps compensate them for the tight margins they have on the project. Here's the thing. Not every one of those general contractors wants to run a rental yard. It requires a lot of service. It requires a lot of follow-up. It requires a lot of maintenance. It's a lot of things that the general contract is not necessarily prepared for. So one of the best things you can do is tell the general contractor, look, I realize you guys have whatever it is, 100 pieces of equipment and you rent them out, but you don't have the towable boom that's needed. You don't have some of the breaker hammers that are needed. You don't have the sweeper attachments that are needed. They're normally going to stick to what they think are the core pieces of equipment. That's actually not a bad thing for a rental house. The reason why is a lot of the stuff that's on the fringe that is not commonly rented, you have a tendency to get a better rate on those. That's a good thing. You can make a lot of money on it. The other one I would do is ask the general contractor, say, look, if you guys have your own rental yard, a lot of times as a rental company, I collaborate with other rental companies because we can't supply 100% of the equipment. How do I get the opportunity to take care of that 5 to 10% of the equipment that you don't have and could not take care of internally? They're going to be very open to listening to that because they're going to realize they've got to keep their project going. The last part of this is ask the general contractor, at what point do you allow your subcontractors to go out and seek equipment from an outside source? Like if you don't have the forklift because your forklifts are out on rent, or if your forklift breaks down and you're waiting on a part, how many days, how much time has to go by where the job schedule or liquidated damages becomes a factor where you allow the subcontractors to reach out to a rental house to get the equipment that they need. I'm going to tell you right now, many of the general contractors are going to shut you down because they want to capture that revenue. But the truth is they are not necessarily professional rental companies. They're general contractors that are looking to make side money. If you build partnerships like this, I can tell you right now, it's a great way to find some of that business. And I'll give you the next part of this. You will see some of the big rental companies, and maybe you're one of the big rental companies, they will even do on-site yards with rebates back to the general contractor because the general contractor is looking at any way they can to make money as the job sites are getting more expensive to build, the margins are tighter, it's more expensive to get stuff in, and the rental rates are still pretty tough. I appreciate y'all. Hope that helps out. It's a difficult topic, but don't hesitate to ask the GC how you can partner up with them when they own their own rental company.